Family name.
Hey, this is our video of our top 10 musicians. Just, not just our top 10, like, it has to deal with opinion, but it's lean more towards pure talent, like the most talented musicians as we see them. Not, you know, Jimmy Page is the greatest guitarist of all time, but, you know, the guys that are just pure talent that, you know, would just kill Jimmy Page with the pure talent they have, which, this is basically our top 10 list of what we think are talented musicians, present, past, all that. Start it off, my number 10 is kind of a duo. I have just a few of those. I have Tim Henson and Scott LePage from Polyphia, an instrumental band. Not many people have heard of them, but they are, they kind of have, you know, this whole groove thing going on, some post-rock. It's pretty cool. I kind of found them when I was listening to Russian Circles, and yeah.
My number 10, I have Marty Friedman, former guitar of Megadeth. Marty Friedman's awesome. I mean, you hear any of his solos from the Rust in Peace era all the way up to, you know, Cryptic Writings. It's probably the last album that I've really heard of them. All his solos are really good, especially like To the Moon, Tornado of Souls, Angry Again, you know, Trust. It's another great solo. Like, all of those solos are really good. I mean, even when he contributed a little bit toward the songwriting later on, I mean, he's just a very talented person. So, yeah.
Number 10, I have David Davidson from Revocation. He is the lead guitar player / vocalist. But his guitar playing, oh my god, it is so cool. He has some of the most twisted riffs out there. I mean, listen to Dismantle the Dictator. You know what I'm talking about. Listen to Invidious. Listen to Fracked. No Funeral. Whatever. I mean, just listen to Revocation's guitar work, and your mind will be blown. Not only from the soloing, from the great riffage. Amazing guitar player. Very talented dude. Number 9, I have Mark Tremonti from Creed / Alter Bridge. I'm more interested in the Alter Bridge stuff, of course. But I just love his work in Alter Bridge. I mean, he's just such an amazing guitar player. I mean, listen to Blackbird. It's probably one of the possibly coolest solos of all time. Anywhere from, you know, their first album all the way up to their new album, Fortress. I mean, there's nothing but great riffs, great hooks, and great solos. I love Mark Tremonti's work. He's a great guitar player.
My number 9, I have Matt Heafy, Trivium. Matt Heafy's awesome because, like, if you listen to a lot of their albums, and specifically Shogun, there's just a lot of really great riffs. And then it's also an extraordinary part of the fact that he's singing a lot of times while these riffs are going on. And it's also I like the range of which he can write riffs. You know, there's, typical metalcore riffs. You know, there's the thrash riffs. You listen to, like, the Crusades. These kind of borderline progressive riffs from Shogun. He's just a very well-versed musician that I feel like if he puts his mind to it, he could probably accomplish just about anything musically. So yeah, it's my number 9.
I had, for number 9, I had Brent Rambler and J.B. Brubaker of August Burns Red. A lot of, you know, more of the classical musicians, like people that favor classical, you know, metal and stuff may not be into them, but they are very, very talented guys, and the stuff they write is completely insane. I think I said they're from August Burns Red. Probably left out. Number 8, I have a guy that's all around just pure talent, Lucas Mann of Rings of Saturn. The guy is ridiculously talented. He's so talented that people say that, like when they recorded their last album, Rings of Saturn, that Lucas Mann could only play the stuff at half the speed that he plays it at. That's how talented and wicked the dude is, that people say, oh, he can't play that really, but he can. So he's a dude and a half.
My number 8, I have the late Randy Rhoads of Ozzy Osbourne fame. Especially if you listen to Blizzard of Oz, Diary of a Madman, which was his two albums with Ozzy. There's a lot of very intricate and cool parts written in that album. Listen to the song Diary of a Madman, and you know what I mean. That song is one of the coolest guitar riffs I've ever heard. And then also, he's also just has a knack for writing really catchy stuff. I mean, hell, Crazy Train is arguably one of the most recognizable riffs ever made. And then, also Mr. Crowley, which is, again, another thing where it's arguably one of the greatest solos ever. I think the second one or the first one, not sure which. They just never specified. But, he's just all-around talent. I mean, and the world was robbed of him, which was a terrible thing. I feel like he could have accomplished a lot more if, he wouldn't have died at such a young age. So, yeah.
Number 8, I have Dave Lombardo of ex-Slayer, now ex-Slayer. This is the only drummer I have on my list. Yes, there's a ton of great, fantastic drummers out there. I don't know. Yeah. But Dave Lombardo I have on here because, I mean, his drumming is just so fucking fun to listen to. It's so good. I mean, the first time I heard Raining Blood, the track, in the beginning, I just, shit myself, how fast those drums were. And then you listen to, War Ensemble or, I don't know, Jesus Saves. I mean, just listen to anything by Dave Lombardo and your mind will be fucked. It is so good. His drumming is just tight. He always has had some of the coolest, tightest fills I've ever heard, too. So, Dave Lombardo's the man. Number 7, I have Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath. And, I guess, Heaven and Hell. But, Geezer Butler is just, he's the fucking man. I mean, listen to, I don't know, War Pigs. Even though it's kind of slow in the beginning, it's just so fucking groovy. It's so cool. And he writes just some of the coolest bass lines you will hear in all of metal. And he's still out there killing it. He still has some incredible, bass solos and just... Geezer Butler is just a legend when it comes to bass. And that's why he is on my list.
Number 7, I have Dimebag Darrell of Pantera fame. Dimebag, I mean, what is there that enough to say about Dimebag? It's really just cool, how he can write these really intricate solos, yet still have them rooted and very bluesy. He's also got some of the weirdest parts of some of his solos and his riffage in Pantera. But then probably one of the biggest things that I think of when I think of Dimebag is nobody can dive bomb like Dimebag. Nobody can just, hit the whammy bar and have it just go down so slow and so perfectly. Nobody else is as good at that as Dimebag. And, again, like with the last one, it's a tragedy that, we lost him, but I mean, was and still probably is one of the greatest guitarists ever. So.
Alright, my number 7, I have something in my eye. My number 7 is a guy I always thought was overrated, but he's really the only thing that made Born of Osiris listenable to me, was Jason Richardson. Now he's in the band Chelsea Grin. Yeah, I used to think he was way overrated. People always talk about him like he was, the next big thing, and he is a very, very talented guy. I've come over time come to see, just him playing different things, maybe not Born of Osiris stuff or Chelsea Grin stuff, just whatever. He seems like a very skilled dude. My number 6 was Robbie Baca from The Contortionist, a dude that is, just insane. He writes some of the... It may not be, the most groundbreaking for music. He didn't come up with a new genre or whatever. I mean, none of my guys on my list really, discovered another planet. But he, for what he does in The Contortionist, it makes it so listenable. It's a band that I've come to appreciate over time, and he is just incredible, like everyone else on my list. He wouldn't be number 6 if he wasn't. So Yeah, Robbie Baca, the contortionist.
My number 6, I have Chuck Schuldiner, Death. It's just how amazingly well this guy can write riffs. I mean, you listen to the earlier stuff, you can hear he writes very thrashy stuff, and then all the way up into the sound of Perseverance. That's the last album, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You listen to, Spirit Crusher, which is, I think, an awesome song. But then if you really, really want to get a handle on just how amazing this guy is at guitar and writing for guitar, listen to all of the dual leads in Voice of the Soul, and just how different and complex and how it goes all over the place with it. It's one of the coolest things I've ever listened to. So that's why he's number 6 on my list.
Number 6, I have Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. Steve Harris to me is the best bassist in metal. Listen to songs, such as Wasted Years or Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, Phantom of the Opera, I don't know. Just listen to anything by Iron Maiden. You'll just be blown away by his bass. How punching of a sound it has, and Iron Maiden's, infamous trots that they use all the time, just Steve Harris is the man, and he just absolutely dominates on bass in my mind, and just a very talented guy. Number 5, I have Marty Friedman. If you've watched any other videos, you guys probably think he's number 1. But when it comes to more raw talent, I feel that he deserves a mention, but he's not, the most talented dude in the world. But like I've always said before, he's my biggest inspiration when it comes to guitar. He has the most perfectly written solos, some of them, and kind of what Keith said earlier. Just listen to the solo of Tornado of Souls, and you'll hear the talent that I'm talking about. Or listen to Hangar 18. Just so many amazing solos. This guy shreds, and he does it with style, and that's why I love Marty Friedman, and I just really wish he was still in Megadeth. They kind of need it.
My number 5, I have Yari, from Winter Sun, and formerly of Ensiferum. I know, at least me, I go on about this band a lot, but Yari just is an amazing guitarist. Also his solo work with the 2 bands are awesome. The Ensiferum's albums with Yari are, in my opinion, their best albums that they put out. It's because Yari is a musical genius in the sense that he was, with Winter Sun, he put out Time 1, where he kind of composed everything, and there was 250 orchestra tracks. It all had to be composed and balanced and whatnot. So literally listen to just about anything they've put out, and you'll understand. But listen to Death and the Healing. That whole song is incredible, and then also the solos are some of my favorite ever. And then also listen to Time. That song is one great big mindfuck. It's just just the kind of talent this guy pours out is just awesome to me. So the number 5 is Yari.
My number 5 is my last combo. Well, the second to last. Justin and Trent from After the Burial. Their style has become more of a Meshuggah-esque sort of groovy rhythm-based sort of writing style, I think. But if you listen to the earlier stuff, like my favorite song by the band, I always have trouble pronouncing it, Ometh, that song, the solo that ends that song is a long, incredible solo, and these guys are just ridiculously talented for as young as they are, and in a band that, compared to the likes of Metallica or something, they're unknown. But, I think they should be a lot more popular than they are. But, dudes are seriously talented. Number 4, I have a drummer, Shannon Lucas. Not from All That Remains. I'm talking about Shannon Lucas from the Black Dahlia Murder. The guy is ridiculous. the Black Dahlia Murder, I've seen them before. They played, what, like an hour and a half? And if you've ever listened to the Black Dahlia Murder, you know, the guy doesn't let up on the drums. He's going constantly. I mean, there's never a break for him. He's going constantly. The stamina that it takes for him to blast beat, to do, you know, everything that he does, he's, I don't know, he's just ridiculous. I don't see how he doesn't just catch on fire. It's insane. The guy is ridiculously talented.
My number 4, I have Dave Lombardo, Slayer. In terms of metal drumming, I don't think it gets much better than Dave. The guy just shits out awesome beats. Like even in, like, you know, you listen to songs like Tyler said, like Rain and Blood or Angel of Death, and the drums are so awesome and they fit so perfectly, and he's kind of constantly moving. There's never nothing happening that isn't like something somewhat fast. And then you listen to songs like Seasons of the Abyss, where he's still kind of going all over the place, but, you know, he can do the same thing that he does with the double bass, but with his hands, and he's just, you know, constantly hitting drum heads, and there's like every 5 seconds there's a drum fill that does not sound exactly the same as the previous one. It's so intricate and awesome that, I mean, it sucks that he's not Slayer anymore, but then, I mean, his talents could go elsewhere then too, and that would be really cool. He could expand himself, so, and I just love his drumming in Slayer. It's awesome.
Number 4, I have Dimebag Darrell. Don't shit on me because he's not my number 1. But, I mean, Dimebag is just, he's the shit. He is just, you know, everything that Keith mentioned. He kind of, in ways, revolutionized metal guitar playing. He helped push it forward. And just listen to solos such as, you know, Walk or Cowboys from Hell or Cemetery Gates. But then you can also listen to other ones such as Floods or motherfucker, it's not coming to me. Tens. Like, holy shit. I mean, this dude's solos are just mind-blowing. And his riffs. I mean, listen to, you know, Walk, something that's just so simple that just can craft such an amazing song, or the riff in Cowboys from Hell, or, you know, the middle section of Floods, where he just kind of, like, is slamming on the whammy bar, and just, it's so fucking cool to listen to, or Outcast of Shadow. I mean, I could go on about great Dimebag Darrell riffs and solos, but, I mean, just his style, the way he crafted them, the way he executed them, and the dive bombs. Dimebag Darrell. Who did I have number 3? Yes. Number 3, I have, I hope I say this right, Michael Ackerfeld of Opeth. Holy mother of fucks. This guy blows my mind. I mean, Opeth is a band that I cannot get enough of, no matter how much I listen to them. It just seems like every song, the guitar work is just out of this world. Just some of the crunchiest riffs sometimes, or some just absolutely killer harmonies, such as in Burden, that just feel like they're moving 1,000 worlds. Or something just really crazy, you know, some very crazy acoustic parts that just, you know, have this amazing classical, like, guitar. I mean, in the way these songs are put together, and just his, you know, I can't mention him without mentioning his vocals, even though vocals will be a more different list, so I won't go more into it. But, I mean, he's a talented singer, a songwriter. I mean, just everything about him is amazing. And to me, he is one of those people that are just musical geniuses, and everything that they touch is just gold. And, I mean, amazing riffs and everything. Yeah.
My number 3, I have Cliff Burton from Metallica. And as a bass player, I think Cliff is probably easily the most talented. He's just, I mean, he would, nobody played bass like Cliff Burton up until that point. He basically made the bass almost like a lead guitar. He could come up with interesting things. Listen to Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, the intro to For Whom the Bell Tolls, the middle part to Orion, and then also The Call of Cthulhu. There's all kinds of awesome bass parts in all of those songs. And like songwriting wise, I mean, he was around and he's had a major writing contribution to Metallica when Metallica was fucking awesome. Their first 3 albums, and with To Live Is to Die and Justice for All, those are when Metallica was at their best, and he had a lot to do with it. I mean, hell, Ride the Lightning, which is an awesome album, he had a writing credit on 6 of the 8 songs on the album, and he had I think 3 or 4 on Master of Puppets. So I mean, like, he's definitely there, and I mean, it's he's just one of those people that's awesome. Like, nobody did that. Nobody used the wah pedal like him. Nobody, the bass never really stood out up until that point. Like, there was, a couple bands that were doing that, but then nobody stood out like that. So that's why Cliff Burton's my number 3.
My number 3 is another guy from the Black Dahlia Murder. He wasn't always in the Black Dahlia Murder, but Ryan Knight. If you listen to the Black Dahlia Murder's latest or the newest album, came out this year, the guy he can solo terrifically on that album, and he can come up with the most interesting riffs, the craziest, chunkiest, heaviest, somehow speediest riffs, and he's just a wonderful, talented guitarist. I said I've seen the Black Dahlia Murder live, and he doesn't mess up. He is just ridiculously talented. I feel sometimes I wonder, what he could do outside of the Black Dahlia Murder, and maybe not death metal. The guy is so creative. To be in a band, the Black Dahlia Murder, and write albums that are the Black Dahlia Murder, they stick to their tradition, but to still make it interesting and to still have each album be something in its own is it takes a lot. It takes a lot more than people might think. Number 2 is a guy that's just all around talented, a guitarist that well, according to my list, only one other person can touch is Josh Middleton of Sylosis. I know someone's gonna be happy that I said that, but he is ridiculously talented. I don't know how to. I don't know if I can say anything about do him justice. He's my number 2 most talented musician of all time. He can play things that are ridiculous. Silas is a band that it's kind of, they use elements of a few different types of music. You could say metalcore, thrash, death metal, melodic death metal, melodic, thrashy riffs, solos. The guy is probably one of the smoothest clean sweeps that I've ever heard. And damn it, I forget what song it is now. It's like frick. I'm so bad with names and albums, but I've heard him clean sweep before, and it's no easy feat.
I know we talked.
Yeah, and the song starts with an E, I think.
Yeah.
He is insane. I don't know. He must have been practicing since he was like 2 years old or something. He's ridiculously talented. But yeah, amazing, talented dude.
My number 2, taking a step back, going outside of metal, and I'm putting Neil Peart of Rush on my list. Neil Peart is awesome. Without a doubt, I think the best drummer ever. Just listen to anything by Rush, and you'll understand what I mean. And it's not like Dave Lombardo, where he's hitting toms or doing the double bass, very fast. It's just how intricate everything is. Half the time, all it is like listening to how and when he hits the hi-hat, or just some of the songwriting stuff that he does. In Tom Sawyer, halfway through the song after the the solos or whatnot when he's like doing the drum fills. Those are some of the coolest drum fills ever. Probably some of the most iconic. And it's just like, in a way, all I should have to say is Neil Peart, and that should be just reason enough. I mean, the guy's awesome. I mean, he's probably got the best technique, the best stamina of any drummer. I mean, and to put it on that, he's also the lyricist of Rush. And Rush has some awesome lyrics. So I mean, he's just one of those guys that is just very well-rounded in music, and it's just again, the most talented drummer I think ever. So yeah, Neil Peart.
My number 2. If all Keith has to say is Neil Peart, all I have to say is Devin Townsend. This fucking guy is like, the Beethoven of metal in my mind. He just can do everything, and he can do everything to perfection. I mean, he's crazy. It's just like he is so gifted. I just listened to all Devin Townsend's records. I mean, it's just they're mind blowing from start to finish. Every single one of them, in my mind. The most recent Epic Cloud just has so many absolutely incredible moments on it. You listen to Key, Addicted, Ghost. I mean, Ghost is just fucking beautiful. And Deconstruction. Who can write a song about a fucking cheeseburger and make it 16 minutes long and make it the most interesting thing you would ever hear? Devin Townsend is just a very amazing guitarist as well as a vocalist, and it's just the way he crafts things. He is another musical genius. He is a mastermind, and he's just a god. Maybe. If I had to make 4 statues of like metal gods, he would be one. My number 1 is Yari from Winter Sun. I'm not even going to try to say his last name, and I should not even attempt to describe how great of a musician this guy is. Winter Sun, they have 2 albums. They have 13 songs, and I cannot get enough of them. I mean, I feel like I listen to this band every single day, and that's just because of his absolutely incredibly masterful songwriting, and the soloing in Death and the Healing and in Time, the song, is probably 2 of my favorite solos of all time. They're so unique. They're so perfect. I mean, just the way the solo in Death and the Healing starts, and then, the little harmony in Time is just so fucking... Oh, it's amazing. And then, the riffage, the first song off their first album. What's it called?
Beyond the Dark Sun.
Beyond the Dark Sun. I always fuck that up. Star Child. Land of Snow and Sorrow. Son of Winter and Stars. I mean, goddamn, this guy is just, he is a master. And the riff in Son of Winter and Stars, well, there's a lot of them, but, it's kind of towards the beginning of the song. It just blows my mind every single time. The one that's like, it's just so, it takes so much talent, and just, it's amazing. I can't say enough about this guy, and his vocals are mind-blowing, but we'll get into that later, and just, Yari, amazing.
My number 1, I have a group, I have all the guitarists of Iron Maiden. I mean, goddamn, it's Iron Maiden. And yes, Steve Harris writes everything, but they take what he writes and they make it awesome. Listen to some of the most recognizable metal anthems ever. You can basically listen to the entire album, Number of the Beast, and you will hear something awesome that these guys helped come up with. I mean, it's, amazing. Some of the best solos, I've ever heard come from this band. The solos in Hallowed Be Thy Name, Brave New World, 2 Minutes to Midnight. Some of these awesome solos, and they put together so flawlessly, and a lot of the riffs just kind of flow so nice. I don't think I've ever heard a guitarist or a band that has like riffs that flow so nicely from one another. Riffs that flow so nicely within themselves. Just how everything just seems so clean and awesome. I mean, I could go on for probably a couple hours about this, but I'm not going to. So I mean, again, just Iron Maiden is just an awesome band, and part of that reason is because of these 3 awesome guitarists. So they're my number 1.
My number 1 is sort of 2 people. I have my number 1, who's kind of my number 2 for number 1, which would be Blake Richardson, and then my number 1 is definitely Paul Wagner of Between the Buried and Me. Hands down, I think he's the most talented musician of all time. I would take him over the likes of Dimebag Darrell, Kirk Hammett, James Hetfield, the most famous musicians that you could think of. You know, John Petrucci, I can say his last name, and you know, all kinds of people, Steve Vai, whatever. I mean, anyone. I would take Paul over any of them any day. In Between the Buried and Me, he combines, you have rock, you have metal, progressive rock, bluegrass, jazz, blues, I said death metal, I think, but it's like 5, 6 different genres in one album. It goes so well. It's not like one part's bluegrass and it just goes to like death metal, and you know, everything from start to finish of the album Parallax 2 is it's the greatest album of all time in my opinion. Maybe not my favorite, but overall I think it is the greatest album of all time. It is amazing. Blake, as I said, he's the drummer of the band. He's an incredible drummer. You know, how many times they shift tempos, the beat changes, how many times that he doesn't repeat things. He'll just play through like a riff, and you know, usually when you play through a riff, you'll play it twice or something. You play through it once and go to another riff. It's, you know, he remembers every single thing about every single thing that goes into a 10-15 minute song. Same with Paul. Paul writes it. Paul writes these 15-minute songs that are absolutely perfect. Tommy also is a cool keyboardist, and but everyone in the band is beyond talented. But Paul Wagner is, I think, the greatest musician of all time. I mean, he does it all. It's not even just, you know, he's the best death metal guitarist of all time. He plays so many different genres. It's ridiculous.
Fuck. I forgot John Petrucci.
Me too.
Damn it. Actually, I could make this list like 50 people long.
Oh yeah.
There's just so many talented people out there, and this was just you know, on the metal side as well, metal and rock, and you know, this also excluded vocalists, which we'll make in a different list. And last thing, this is all opinion. This is definitely all opinion. So tell us your, you know, top 10 most talented musicians, and we'll see you around. Any last words?
I could make my list 50 people long, 50 different times, and Paul would still be my number 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.